If you're gonna do the Astra service the same way I did, this is what you're gonna need: some axle stands with some of the little sort of bits you put on the end just to make the angle less steep, stop your front of your car grounding out. Some gloves, some oily or some rags, your wrench, and it was a 19mm socket for the sump bolt. You need a T20 and a T25. I think it was like a 7 or 8mm socket. Some screwdrivers as usual, just to try and ping things off. I needed this to get the cover off the pollen filter. I'll explain in the video, but basically there's bolts which are neither 5mm or 6mm, so I don't know whether it's some Vauxhall specific weird size, so yeah, I use these. Got some various extensions and adapters. I've got a copper washer on the sump bolt, a torque wrench if you want to use one of them. I used some rubber O-rings. Explained in the video, but it's to do with those bolts I said were tricky and a weird size. I basically put them on so then I could put it on finger tight for next time. And then I've got a 32mm like filter housing cap sockets. I think I got like a pack of 5 different size ones. Quite handy to have if you do a lot of service on different cars. So that was it. Some containers for your oil, some fresh oil, a funnel maybe, and then something to catch the oil. I just used an old like 5 kilo protein powder tub with the top cut off, and that's it. So this is what I'll be using today. Here's my air filter. I don't remember on the last one there being this foamy, not foam, it's like cottony fluffy stuff on one side. I'll have to check the one that comes out, whether it's just packaging and it's kind of stuck itself. I don't know. I'll have a look at the one I take out, see if I need to pull this off. I expect I do. There's the carbon filter, the pollen filter, and there's the oil filter, which came with some seals. Okay, first things first, get your car up on ramps. I had to put some bags of gravel in front of the ramps because they were sliding a little bit. Okay, so there's your sump plug. I'm trying to zoom out a little bit, not the most amount of space, so you can see the sump there and the sump plugs at the back. I've just used an old like protein tub that's with the top cut off. I've just put that on top of a toolbox, some oily rags just in case, and I'll get that draining out. So there's the oil draining out. As you start to get less and less oil in the engine, it starts to kind of run back on itself a little bit, but it's not too bad. There's a little bit of a lip that it runs off of then. Yeah, definitely advise putting your container up on top of something to get it as close as you can, while still being able to get your ratchet in and undo the bolt, which is a 19mm. So I'll leave that and go and undo the filter. Okay, I've just taken the filler cap off, just in case, whether it helps oil flow out from the sump, don't know, but can't hurt. For the oil filter housing, I've bought myself a load of different size filter sockets. This particular one is 32mm, and I've just got like probably a 8-inch extension. Just gonna put get some gloves actually. Always a good idea to have gloves on for this. So I'm just gonna put some cloths around where the lid's gonna come off. Nice bit of recycling of old crappy underwear. It's not tighter than I was expecting. There we go. That was really tight. I won't be doing it back up that tight. It actually says on the cap, I think, what the torque is. There we go, that just pulls out. Give it a good pull and the filter will come off. I have to change the rubber ring on this, the seal, and get the new filter in. 25 Newton meters. Having set that up, it feels didn't want to actually keep turning it for 25 Newton meters. Felt a bit too much, so I've just done it pretty tight. I didn't want to end up breaking the cap. So this is a 7mm. Just undo this Jubilee clip. And we got a T25 socket to get the lid off. So those screws don't come out, they stay in the housing. So there's the old filter, pretty black. I think it's been in about a year, but yeah, there's quite a lot of crap in there I'll have to clean out of the underside of the casing. Unfortunately, don't have a Hoover out there. So yeah, this foam should come off. Presume it's there just to protect. Got three little lines of glue holding it on. That just slots in. You can see there's like a little channel around the outside of the casing. This one's a nice easy one. those 4 T20 screws come out, and then your whole glove box can come out. You don't want to just hang it on the floor because this cable's not long enough, so it'd be putting pressure on that. Right, seeing as the oil filter and the air filter are so easy, they thought they'd make the pollen one a real pain in the ass. So ended up taking the glove box out. You just slide the connector off. Just make a note of which way round it goes back on. Mine's got the brown wire at the top. Then you've got 2 little bolts to undo, which, well done Vauxhall, let's put bolts in that are between 5 and 6 mil. So I've got nothing that can undo those. So I managed to undo them using this. Really slow going. So I got the 2 nearest ones out, which is that one and that one. Is like a, it then releases this sort of letterbox size piece of plastic, which I can't get to unclip from the top, so I've just hinged it up out of the way. So it's normally like that. It's really hard to see once you've undone those 2 bolts. It's either come out if it's being nice or not. I've had to hinge it upwards, and the pollen filter comes out of there. I had to use a screwdriver to try and hook it out and then just pull it out. It's really cramped in here. You've got this, I'm not quite sure what this big round thing is, so that's right in the way. So yeah, it's just generally a pig of a job. Just note the airflow markings on your old filter as you take it out. So I've only got my other filter, and just make sure I put it back in the same, with the arrows pointing the same way. So I'm going to slide that back in, put those 2 bolts back on, connect the glove box again, and screw it back in. Because getting these stupid little bolts out, which aren't any kind of particular size, because I'm going to be doing this again in a year's time, I thought I'd just put a load of rubber seals I've got around it, so I should be able to just screw it in finger tight and actually have that bit of cover closed, so I won't have to spend half an hour trying to get these stupid little things out. Just a thought anyway. Okay, so I've put a nice new copper washer on the sump plug, put that back in. I don't really know the torque values. Whenever I've done cars in the past, I've just tightened it to a sensible level. You don't want to go too mad, because it'd be a real nightmare if you snap the bolt off, snap the head off, or damage it. So just I tighten mine just sensibly. When you got a copper washer, you can feel it kind of squash a bit as you tighten it, so that's good enough. Just once you've finished, take the car for a spin, look underneath, just check it's not dripping. Right, so I'm using Castle Combe 5W30 fully synthetic It's got the General Motors GM LLA025 and GM LLB025, which I believe is the right spec for this car. Yeah, if you just look on websites that sell oil, you can usually find which oil is suitable for your car. So I measured about just a fraction over 5 litres came out.